Hello everyone. So this class we are going to see for loop and loops, right? So why loops are important, why we need them, right? So this is what we are going to do this class. Okay, so let's take an example and let's create a list with name A and I have all the colors here. So red, comma, green, comma, yellow, purple. Okay, let's run this. And if I ask you guys that you print each and every element from that list, so what you can do, you can simply go and print A and 0th element. So it will print red, right? You can do the same thing and you'll print simply all the elements like this. 1, 2, and 3. Right? This is giving each and every element. And this is one way you can do it. And we have already seen how we can do this, right? But what if this list contains not only 4, but it has 100 elements inside this? Doing this part is like going to be taking too long, and this is not suggested also, right? So let's say you have to write the same code for 100 times. So this is where we can use loops. So to write or to print all the elements from this list, we can simply write, I'll explain in the last what I'm doing here. So for elements in A, okay, colon, and you know what happens, right? If you put a colon, that means I'm going inside that loop, or I'm going inside that, right? So we have seen the similar thing in if else, we have seen in functions, right? So here also I'm providing a colon, and if you see, I already there is a 4 spaces, the intent is already created, right? Now what we have to do, we have to print elements, right? Let's run this. So if you see, it's printing all the elements. So what I'm doing, guys, so this is the syntax of the for loop, right? So for elements in A, and A is what? A is here list, right? Our list is A. Now all the elements, and this name can be anything. You can call it element, you can call it I, you can call it A, you can call it anything. Not A is name of the list, right? So let's call it elements 1. Okay, elements 1 in A, which is our list. Print all the elements, or elements 1 now, right? Because we have changed this elements 1. Run this and you will see you're getting all the elements. Okay, so this is easier, right? If you have lot of things, lot of elements inside the list, and this not only work for list, this work for any numbers as well. So if I'm storing range of numbers, let's try that out, that example. So I think we have seen this range function, right? You provide range and you provide what is the range, right? So let's say 1 comma 6. So what does this mean? So it is, let me store this somewhere. So b equal to this. So if you print b, it's saying range 1 to 6, right? Or let's make this a list and then store it, so you can actually read that. Okay, now you can see what I'm doing. I'm creating b, and then I'm putting a range 1 to 6, and I'm creating a list and putting that value of list in b, right? And then I'm printing b. So let me explain this again. So I'm using range function. I'm providing a range between 1 to 6, and then I'm actually putting this in a list, right? And everything is stored under b. When I'm printing b, so this is basically printing the list, right? And yeah, it starts with 1 and it goes till 5, not the 6th place, guys. If you see, it's printing only till 5. right? Okay, so now this is printing the list now. Let's so we did this, right? So let's okay, so let's add a for loop here for in b colon print I, right? So I am giving a range between 1 to 6, creating a list, saving it in B, and then I'm printing all elements from B. So I'm printing, I'm iterating with I, and then I'm printing that I. So you can see all elements are getting printed, right? Okay, now think through, what if you want to, you know, do some operation here. When I say operation, it can be, let's say you want to add everything which is here in that list, right? Then how we will do that? Okay, so let's write this again. Okay, so let's create C equal to list of range 1 to 5. Okay, for I in C, let me just bring it little down. Okay, for I in C. Okay, so what we have to do here, we have to add each and every, you know, element in that list, right? So it's like I have to add 1 and then 1 plus 2, then 1 plus 2 plus 3, right? So what we'll do, we'll initiate another variable and we'll call it total. So total equal to 0. So we are initiating it and we are giving a value of 0. So we can use it here, right? So now let's say total equal to total plus I. Okay, so understand this. I'm initiating a variable here. Okay, so total is initiated, but the value is 0. Okay, so I can totally use this variable, right? I can use this variable, and then I'm creating another variable called total, right? And what I'm doing, I'm using this total plus I. So what it's doing, what this loop, what it does, right? So this will change a value for I between 1 to 5. So first value of I will be 1, right? So what it will do, let me just show you. So first time what it will do, so total is what? 0, and your I value is what? Here, right? 1. Correct? If you see here, the first value of I is 1. Okay, so it will take 0 plus 1 and it will save it in total. So what will value? 1. Okay, now for second time what it will do, it will take what is the value of total now, right? So value of total is 1. It will take 1, and what is the value of I now, which is the second, right? Second element, which is 2. So it will take 2, and what is 1 plus 2? It will be 3. Like that it will go till 4, right? Till it will go 4, because I am using one range is 1 to 5. So it will go for 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so let's print total. Print total. Okay, so you can see 10. If you add 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, and 6 plus 4 is 10. So I'm getting it, right? Let me explain this again. So this part is like creating a list here, right? Creating a list with a range between 1 to 5, and then you are putting a for loop, initiating each element using I, right? And then what we did, we initiated a variable called total, and then we are using that variable to add my elements again and again in the loop, right? And this is how it will run. I have added a comment, right? And if you print the total, right? If you print the total, which is the final, right? After the fourth iteration, right? That will be the final value of the total. So you're getting 10 in the answer. Okay. Let's say you want to, you know, uh, add those elements which is divisible by 3, or let's say which is divisible by 5 only. Okay, so let me create another list called D equal to list of range. Let's go with 1 to 11. between 1 to 11, right? Because I want at least couple of number, right? So if I just simply print it, we will know that what it will be. Print D, right? So we are talking about only thing which is divisible by 5, right? So only thing will be divisible by 5, which is 5 and 10, correct? 5 and 10, right? So that's why I just given a range a little bigger. So at least I have two numbers to add, right? So and then what we have to do, we have to put a for loop, right? Let's wait here, right? So we have to add a for loop condition, and what we have to do, we have to, in total, we have to same thing, right? So we'll start, let me start a variable called total1 equal to 0, and then total1 equal to total1 plus I. So whatever I will be here, right? So I have not given it because we want to write a condition here. We have to write a condition which is divisible by 3, divisible by 5, right? We have to add that condition. Okay. So to understand what will be the divisible, how we can find something is divisible, right? There is something called mod, right? So this is something that we have to understand, right? So let's try something. Let's say 2 mod 4, or let's say 4 mod 2, right? 4 mod 2. If you run this, it will give you 0. Why it is giving me 0? Because mod is something that finds the remainder and return it. Okay, so it is not a division, it's a mod. So mod, what it does, right? It just give you what is the remainder value that you are getting. So if I give something like 5 divided by 5 mod 2, right? It will give me 1. Because if you divide 5 by 2, what will be the remainder? It will be 1, right? So that is what it's giving. So anything, let's say if I give 5 and I'm dividing it by 5, then it will give me 0. So anything is divisible by 5, completely divisible by 5. If I have to say if anything is completely divisible by 5, then it will return, if I'm putting a mod, it will return me 0. Correct? Understand this, right? So anything which is completely divisible, it will return remainder as 0. So we can use this one to determine if anything is divisible by 5 or not. Okay. So I just provide this I in D, right? And then let me remove this one. Okay. So now for I in D, so I am iterating each and every element from D, right? The list, right? 1 to 11, that range. We are iterating each and every time. And what we have to do for every iteration, we have to check if I mod, I mod 5 is if I is mod 5, right? And if I is mod 5, it means it is returning 0. Okay, if I mod 5, then you do total. Let me, there is a intent will be required, so I'll do that. Okay, so understand this, guys. Inside the for loop, every element is iterated. Every element which is I here, right? Every element is getting iterated, and we are running through a if condition. So if I is mod 5, if I'm dividing a value of I with 5, and if I'm returning 0, if and only if I'm returning 0, then it will go for the next condition. Then only it will go for next condition, right? And what is that if condition? Is like every time the value of I mod 5 will be 0, then it will go for total 1, same thing which we did earlier. So mod total 1 is equal to total plus I. It will do that operation, and what last thing we have to do? We have to print total 1. Total 1. Let's run that. Okay, so I am getting 40. Let's see what happened, right? Okay, so to understand that, right? So what I'm doing here, I'm just doing one I mod 5. So let's print what is coming in what is coming in I, right? So what is coming in I? Let's try to print it. Sometimes we have to do something like that to debug what happened, right? So I'm just showing you one example. Okay, so if you see here, I'm not getting 5, I'm not getting 10, but I'm getting everything else. Okay, I'm getting everything else. Okay, so that means what happened? It is actually taking when it comes return 0, right? It's not taking every time else it is taking. Okay, so we understood that. Let's say, for example, let's try. So first, what is the first iteration? It's 1 mod. It's 1 mod 5. Correct. So if I run on 1 mod 5, it is coming 1. If I do 2 mod 5, it will give me 2. Likewise, if I give 7 mod 5, it will give me 2. Right? So if you see, every time it is giving me some value, right? It is giving me some value, and only for 5. If it's 5 mod 5, it will be 0, and 10 mod 5, it will be 0. So let's put a condition here, and if 1 mod 5 is equal to 0, and then do it, right? So if you see, it is printing what is the I am getting. I'm getting only 5 and 10, and what is the total? 10 plus 5 is 50. Okay, so this is how you can initiate a variable, okay, and then create a list, put a loop to iterate through that list, put a condition, yeah, iterating that list, right? Put a condition and then do some operation that you want to do. Okay. Okay, so that's all for loop, guys.